My boyfriend asked me to see the blue tears on Pintan Island on our 7th anniversary. But the night before we left, he told me over the phone that we had to cancel our flight. Willow was harassed by her ex-boyfriend. She's falling apart. I have to go stay with her. Willow was his junior, the girl he always sighed over and said was too pitiful. This was the third time he had broken an important promise to me, all for Willow. This time, I didn't scream and cry like before. I just asked quietly, Shinfin, should we break up? A dismissive chuckle came from the other end of the line, with the noisy singing of a KTV in the background. Lynn Piper, stop being ridiculous. Okay. This is a matter of life and death. Can't you be more sensible? Be good, refund the tickets. I'll take you next year. I promise I'll make it even more romantic for you. I didn't refund the tickets. The next day, I dragged my suitcase alone and boarded the plane to Fuzhou. He didn't know that this time, I was dead set on breaking up. As for the legendary blue tears, bright as a starry sea, I didn't need him to come with me anymore. Someone else would gladly chase a sea of stars for me. I was stuffing the last tie-dye blue maxi dress into my suitcase when Shinfin called. Weather and tide reports all said the next few days would be the best time to see the blue tears erupt on Pintan Island. Growing up as an art student in an inland city, I had longed for that fluorescent sea, sketched it hundreds of times on my canvas. After Shinfin found out, he tapped my nose affectionately and promised, when we hit 7 years, I'll take you there. They say couples who see the blue tears together will love each other forever, just like the glowing sea. The smile in his eyes back then was brighter than starlight. So we booked our flights and a frontline ocean view homestay 3 months in advance. I scoured every travel guide, made a detailed itinerary, down to every rock and perfect time for photos. To get the most beautiful shots, I bought a new camera lens, prepared all kinds of white dresses, straw hats, beach sandals. I even practiced running and turning back by the sea in front of the mirror countless times. Even my roommates could feel my excitement and teased me. Piper, you're not gonna be too excited to sleep tonight, are you? I was about to answer with a smile when my phone rang. The screen lit up with Shinfin. I couldn't wait to show him what I'd arranged. I rented a car, and I contacted a local guide. He said he'll definitely take us to the best viewing spot. Before I could finish, he cut me off coldly. Piper, refund the tickets. We can't go to Pintan tomorrow. My heart sank sharply, as if thrown into an ice cellar. My voice trembled. Why? Willow was harassed by her no-good ex. He sent her threatening messages. She's locked alone in her dorm, shaking with fear. I have to go check on her. I retorted instinctively, she can call the police. She can find her counselor. What's the point of calling the police? No real harm was done. At most, they'll give a verbal warning. She's a soft girl. What if he takes revenge? He seemed to light a cigarette over the phone, his voice muffled. Piper, you've always been the kindest. You understand, right? Besides, this is doing the right thing. You should be proud of me. I looked at myself in the mirror, wearing a straw hat, full of expectation, and suddenly felt bitterly ironic. This was the third time Shinfin had stood me up all for Willow. Shen. Fin and I were each other's first love. We'd been together since high school, for 7 whole years. All those years, our relationship was the envy of everyone else. He remembered all my likes, prepared hot cocoa for me during my period, stayed quietly with me when I hit a creative block in my paintings. After college, even though we were on different campuses, our daily video calls never stopped. We walked hand in hand through every corner of the campus, planning to get married right after graduation. Everyone thought we'd last forever. But everything changed in our senior year, when a junior named Willow joined Shinfin's programming team. At first, when Fin mentioned her, he complained dismissively. So stupid. I taught her the most basic algorithm 8 times and she still can't remember. How did someone like her even get recommended admission? Her fashion sense is terrible too. Always looking messy, not like a girl at all. Then, by chance, Finn found out that Willow came from a poor family, her parents divorced, and she earned all her tuition and living expenses through part-time jobs. When he spoke of her after that, his tone softened with sympathy and guilt. She works 3 part-time jobs a day and still has to keep up with her studies. She's busy as a bee. No wonder she's slow. I didn't think much of it at the time, and even told Finn that if she was having such a hard time, as her senior, he should help her more. I never imagined that those words "help her more" would be the start of the end of our relationship. The first time Finn stood me up for Willow was at my crucial design exhibition. It was a piece I pulled 3 all-nighters to finish, a finalist. I'd given him a guest ticket early on, hoping he'd come witness my big moment. But he never showed up, not even after the exhibition ended. His phone went unanswered. When I dragged myself back to the dorm, exhausted, I finally got his text. Willow had acute gastroenteritis. I took her to the hospital. My phone died, just saw your messages. Sorry, Piper. I let you down. But saving someone is urgent. You won't blame me, right? I'll definitely see your work next time. But there was no next time. It was my graduation exhibition, the most important showcase of my 4 years in college. But I didn't argue with him. I just quietly replied okay. I told myself life and health came first. There would be other exhibitions. It was only right for Finn to take a classmate to the hospital. But once was enough to open the door to many more. The second time was at a music festival we'd planned to attend together. He was late again 2 full hours. His excuse: Willow had gotten into a fight over a seat in the library. Someone pushed her, she was too scared to do anything but cry, and begged Finn to go stand up for her. Finn traded brown sugar water for a mediation form, the music festival for the campus security office. By the time he finally arrived, the headliner band was already singing their last song. He explained to me, Willow's the type who won't even talk back when she's bullied. You're a girl too. You must understand that feeling of helplessness. I stayed to make sure she didn't get hurt. I only felt absurd. Shivering in the cold wind, I asked him, can't she find a teacher or classmates? Why you a male senior? She just got here, doesn't have many friends, and she's introverted. It was an emergency. She thought of me first. How could I say no? Things are completely innocent between us. Piper, what are you overthinking? His explanation was cut short halfway through that day. Because Willow sent another message, saying she was still scared and asking if he could walk her back to her dorm. The music festival's over anyway. I'll take her home first. It's not safe for a girl to walk alone at night. I have to see her through. With that, he turned and walked toward the school gate, leaving me alone in the dispersing crowd. It was a late autumn night, bitterly cold. My coat was still in his backpack. I called after him, wanting my coat back, but he already flagged down a taxi. He waved at me through the window. Baby, don't be mad. I'll come make it up to you when I'm done. The car sped away. I hugged myself and walked for half an hour in the cold wind back to the dorm. My body was cold. My heart was completely numb. I caught a cold that night and ran a high fever. Finn said he was busy and couldn't come see me. But at the same time, on Willow's social media, I saw him. He was sitting at her desk, frowning at her computer. Willow's caption, the best senior ever. Not only did he stand up for me, he fixed my 4-year-old laptop too. I'll never be able to repay this kindness. I stared at that photo for a long time, and suddenly realized something between Finn and me had rotted away completely. Once, even a tiny sneeze from me would make him panic. But that day, I coughed so hard over the phone, my voice shaking from the cold, and he didn't notice at all. It wasn't that he'd grown careless. It was that all his attention and care had gone to someone else. I refreshed Willow's page obsessively, over and over. My head grew heavier, my fever blurred my mind. I buried my face in the pillow under the covers. In that moment, for the first time, I thought about giving up on Fin. In my drowsiness, I had a long dream. I dreamed of high school Fin, kicking open the door when I was locked in the equipment room, crying from fear. He held my trembling body tight, comforting me clumsily, talking non-stop in my ear. He said so much, but only one line stayed clear in the dream. "Piper, if I ever mess up in the future, give me 3 chances." "Okay." I nodded through my tears, "Okay." And now, my 3 chances were used up. It was time to say goodbye. When I told Fin I wanted to break up, he fell silent for a full 5 seconds. Then he asked in disbelief, "You're breaking up with me? Just because I didn't take you to see the blue tears?" I didn't answer. I stared at the map on my phone. From our campus to Willow Meng's dorm, then to the KTV where he was now, it was almost across the entire city. The thing Fin hated most was wasting time on meaningless travel. Turned out he could be willing to rush around for someone else. "Can you stop being unreasonable? She's really in danger. I can't just ignore her. The blue tears aren't going anywhere. Can't we go next year?" He sighed and softened his tone, like coaxing a naughty child. "Baby, be good. Refund the tickets." I squatted down and pulled the blue dress out of my suitcase, feeling utterly ridiculous. You'd cross the whole city to comfort Willow Meng. But if I refund the flights and the homestay, I'll lose over 2,000 yuan in fees alone. Unexpectedly, he laughed on the other end. "You little money grubber. You're just upset about the money. What's that amount to us? But it's different for Willow. Her sense of security can't be bought with money. Kids from her background have strong pride and are stubborn. She won't easily take financial help. If I don't go this time, she might end up with trauma that she can never get over." Even though Fin wasn't in front of me, I could picture exactly what he looked like saying this. Furrowed brows, tight lips, eyes full of unmasked pity and righteousness. A sharp, dense ache spread through my chest. I asked coldly, "If she won't accept help from others, then how is you singing KTV with her right now not helping her?" Fin's patience seemed to snap instantly. "Lynn Piper, what are you even trying to say? It's just the refund money. I'll pay you double." "Okay. Do you have to gossip about a poor girl like this behind her back?" It was the first time in my life that Fin had spoken to me in such a harsh tone. My hands froze mid-packing. The pent-up frustration burst out of me like a flood. He realized he'd gone too far. "Piper, I didn't mean it like that." I cut him off directly. "Fin, we're breaking up. Stop being silly. If you say that again, I'll take it seriously. You'll be the one crying then." I pulled the couple's sun protective shirt out of the case and said, word by word, I am serious. We are breaking up." He seemed to laugh at my stubbornness. "Fine. Break up, then." The call ended. The dorm room went silent. My roommates looked at me cautiously. One of them asked softly, "Piper, are you still going to Pintan?" "Yes. Why wouldn't I? I'd already made all the plans. Did I really not know how to travel without him?" I looked down and continued packing quietly. I was about to see the sea I'd dreamed of for so long. So why did my chest feel like a huge rock was weighing it down? Just then, my screen lit up with a video message. It was from Jiang Liu, Fin's roommate and our mutual friend. I hesitated and tapped play. The footage was shaky, clearly taken secretly. Fin had his back to the camera, playing dice with friends. A guy asked him, Bro, Piper's about to break up with you and you're still drinking here. Finn didn't even turn around, answering casually. She won't leave me. Piper's just throwing a tantrum, jealous. I know her. All bark, no bite. Ignore her for 2 days, she can't stand it. She'll come crawling back begging to get back together. Another guy asked, aren't you scared she'll really go to Pintan alone? No way. Finn's tone was as sure as fact. She's way too timid, and she's terrible with directions. She can't go anywhere without me, let alone someplace that far. Besides, she cares about her looks way too much. No one to take her photos, what's the point? Right after he finished speaking, the private room door opened. Willow Meng walked in with a fruit plate, her voice timid and tearful. Senior, thank you for staying with me today. The video cut off there. I was confused and sent Leo a question mark. He texted back quickly, I'm not the nosy type. I didn't send this to meddle. I just wanted to ask you still going to Pintan? I'm heading there tomorrow for a field trip too. Same flight as you. And I do photography. DSLR, drone, underwater camera fully equipped. If you don't mind. Want to come along? Be temporary travel partners? Among all of Finn's friends, I was the least close to Leo. He was a top student in architecture, from what I heard, extremely wealthy, a real born winner. We met in a public photography class. Back then, I just thought he was cold and distant, with an outstanding air, like someone straight out of a comic book. Shortly after that class, Finn told me Leo was too withdrawn and unsociable. He never joined department events. The only time I saw him at a party was at a dorm mixer. Everyone brought a date. Only Leo came alone. Amid the noisy couples, he sat quietly. In the corner, completely out of place. That was when we added WeChat, but we never talked after that. Our chat history was blank as a sheet of paper. Staring at his message, I thought for a moment. I really didn't like traveling alone. A partner would mean more safety and someone to look out for me. Besides, Leo seemed genuinely reliable. So I replied, okay. Our flight was at 11 the next morning. We met in front of the airport terminal. I spotted him from far away. He was pulling a silver suitcase, wearing a simple white t-shirt and casual pants, standing quietly under a palm tree. His looks were so striking that he stood out in the crowd like someone with a soft glow filter. When he saw me, he nodded politely and naturally took my suitcase from my hand. I can do it myself, I said, embarrassed. It's fine. Not heavy. We checked in and boarded the plane. Our seats were right next to each other. He pulled a U-shaped pillow out of his backpack and handed it to me, his voice clear. You look like you didn't sleep well. You can put this on and nap later. I froze. I really hadn't slept at all the night before, after fighting with Finn. My mood was terrible. When I woke up that morning with huge dark circles, I'd written a quick complaint in my private diary app. Hope I can sleep on the plane. Wish I had a pillow. This app was for my deepest, most private thoughts. Even Finn didn't know about it. And Leo definitely couldn't have known. I guessed it was just a coincidence. Did you make an itinerary? Want to look at mine? I held out my phone to him. He nodded, read it carefully, then commented, you put a lot of work into this. It covers almost all the popular spots. But there's one small problem. On the third day, you scheduled 4 attractions in 4 different directions. The distances are huge. You'd be exhausted, just rushing through everything. I suggest putting Beigang Village and the Ring Road on the same day. They're along the same route. We can rent an electric scooter and ride slowly. The scenery is beautiful. I watched him trace a new route on my digital map, focused and slightly spaced out. Whenever I traveled with Finn before, I always made the plans alone. He never knew where we were going and never looked at my itinerary. Sometimes when I packed the schedule too tight, or accidentally picked a overhyped fake scenic spot, he'd complain and criticize me. Piper, your plans are so messy. My legs are killing me. What's even worth seeing in this lousy place? After a while, I almost forgot that traveling was supposed to be for two people, something to plan together. But Leo was different. He'd clearly done his homework ahead of time. Soon, he helped me optimize the whole schedule. Once the plane reached cruising altitude, sleepiness washed over me, and I drifted off without noticing. When I woke up, my head was leaning on Leo's shoulder, and I was unconsciously gripping his shirt. Leo's body was stiff, not daring to move at all. I jumped and sat up straight, blushing furiously as I apologized. It's okay. You were sleeping soundly, so I didn't have the heart to wake you. He answered calmly, like it was the most normal thing in the world. For the next few days, Leo and I explored Pintan Island following the new plan. I realized Leo was the perfect travel partner. He didn't complain about the restaurants I picked like Finn did. He didn't just snap a few lazy photos and rush me along. Whether it was a seafood stall or local snacks, he ate with real enjoyment. Lynn, you're great at finding places. This restaurant is amazing. When taking photos, he patiently found the best light and angles, and even guided my poses. Every picture he took looked like a professionally made magazine shot. The only letdown was that the predicted blue tears eruption still hadn't appeared. Luckily, we'd both taken extra days off. We could still wait. That day, after leaving the immortal well-scenic spot, on the bus back, I scrolled through my phone out of boredom. I just happened to see Willow Meng had updated her moments. I clicked into her page almost against my will, and found every single one of her posts was about Shin. Finn. At first, she called him Senior politely. Thank you, Senior, for staying with me and comforting me all night. I feel much safer now. Senior took me to the hot pot I've always wanted, and bought me a huge milk tea. So happy. Later, her nickname for him quietly changed to Someone. Someone really grew up in the city. He's never even seen fireflies and screamed in fright. So cute. Someone is used to fancy food, but he said my mom's home cooking is the best in the world. Someone insisted on dragging me to climb the mountain for sunrise. But bro, the path is slippery after rain. He said the misty view from the top made his heart race more than any sea. She could easily post 10 times a day, announcing it to the whole world. Weren't you supposed to be falling apart from harassment? She looked happier than anyone. I was about to lock my phone when young Leo suddenly held his screen out to me. Lynn, I'm not the type to stir up trouble, but I think you have the right to know some things. What Leo showed me was the chat history from their computer science dorm group. One roommate at Ed. Finn. Having fun. Finn replied, not bad. The countryside is basic, but the air is nice. Pretty relaxing. Another roommate asked, has Piper texted you? She might actually be in Pintan. I haven't seen her on campus these days. Finn sent a dismissive emoji, as if she dares. She's swamped with classes. It's normal you didn't run into her. I haven't contacted her. I have to teach her a lesson this time, so she stops throwing around breakup. All the time. Bro, you're way too confident. Piper's really pretty. What if someone hits on her while you're fighting? Finn's reply was full of arrogance. You underestimate how much she loves me. Honestly, though, it's been almost a week. She's definitely hiding in the dorm crying. Once I finish this movie with Willow, I'll call her and give her an out. Those cold, square words stabbed my eyes like needles. I looked up at Leo. So what are you trying to say? Nothing. I just think that for someone who has a girlfriend, Finn's boundaries with the opposite sex are way too blurry. I'm not fueling the fire. I just want to make sure. You're not getting back together with a guy who casually stays at another girl's place, right? His voice softened at the last sentence, careful, with a faint trace of tension. I'm not. My answer was sharp and final. He didn't say anything else, put his phone away, and a tiny, almost invisible smile flickered in his eyes. The ride back from the scenic spot to the homestay was long. I was worn out from the past few days and fell asleep again on the bus. My phone was in my coat pocket, about to slip out. Luckily Leo caught it quickly. I was half asleep when a sharp ringtone jolted me awake. The bus was crowded, and Leo was sitting close. I could feel his body go, completely rigid in that instant. The ringtone kept ringing stubbornly. Finally, he whispered to me, "Lynn, it's Finn. Want you to take it." I shook my head. I was too tired. I just wanted to lie down and sleep, not waste a single more second on Finn. "Then should I answer for you?" he asked suddenly. I was so sleepy my brain barely worked, and I didn't catch his real meaning right away. By the time I realized, he had already swiped to answer. Finn's familiar, lazy voice came through the speaker. "Baby, cooled off yet? I'm at Willow's place now. I'll be back in 2 days. I brought you some dried bamboo shoots her family made. I know you didn't mean the breakup. I'll let it slide this time. Don't talk nonsense again, got it?" His tone was full of condescending mercy, like I was the unreasonable one who needed to be forgiven. I only felt disgusted and ridiculous. Leo waited patiently until he finished, then spoke slowly and calmly. "Excuse me, are you looking for Lynn?" The other end went dead silent. 3 seconds later, Finn's voice shot up, sharp with alarm and shock. "Tian Leo. Where's Piper? Why is her phone with you?" "Oh, Lynn." Leo glanced sideways at me, eyes closed, pretending to sleep, and the corner of his mouth lifted slightly. "She's had a long day. She's sleeping right next to me. Want me to wake her up for you?" I really had been out all day and was exhausted. I really had napped on the bus. Every word Leo said was true. But put together, they sounded undeniably ambiguous. After a short stunned silence, Finn suddenly seemed to figure it out and relaxed. "Oh, right, it's Friday. You and Piper have that photography elective together." Willow's voice faintly came through the phone. "Senior, who are you talking to? I made chicken soup. Drink it while it's hot." Finn hung up in a hurry. "I've got stuff here. Gotta go." When the call ended, Leo saw I was awake and handed me my phone. "Want to stop for snacks at the night market before heading back?" he asked. I was hungry, but shook my head. "No, I'm tired." I'd always thought Leo was single. Only now did I know he had an arranged partner. Then why was he traveling alone with me? It didn't seem appropriate. An old lady was selling gardenias at the bus stop. Leo bought a strand and held it out to me. They were my favorite flowers. But this time, I didn't take it. On the way back to the homestay, the more I thought, the more uncomfortable I felt about his behavior. I always believed, if you're in a relationship, you keep your distance from the opposite sex. It's basic respect and responsibility. So I subconsciously stepped a little away from him. I thought it would be better to finish the rest of the trip alone. I was figuring out how to say it when Leo spoke first. "Lynn." He stood at the door of my room, tall and steady, looking straight into my eyes, explaining seriously. "I did have an arranged partner before, but we felt nothing for each other. She came to campus last time to talk about how we could convince our families to cancel it. The engagement's officially off now. I made my position clear to my parents. Meaning, I'm single now." The sea breeze ruffled his bangs. He lowered his head slightly, gaze intense. "I'm saying this just to clear up any misunderstanding. I'm not like Finn. He has a girlfriend but messes around with other girls. I'm not that kind of person." He paused, then held out the strand of gardenias he'd been carrying the whole time. "I don't like strong scents, but I hate to throw them away. Can you do me a favor and take them? After all the nice photos I took for you today. I looked up at him. Leo really was nothing like Finn, especially not in personality. Finn was the type who never bothered to explain. He always said misunderstandings came from not trusting enough. So whenever I doubted him, he never clarified, just watched me overthink and torture myself. Today I realized, guys can actually use their mouths. I took the pure white gardenias from his hand. Okay. See you tomorrow. After washing up, I was about to rest when Finn's message popped up. Piper, back at the dorm. I'm still up. Willow's bed is too small, I can't even turn over. At least the quilt smells like sunshine. Staying in the countryside is pretty nice. I'll bring you here next time. I replied directly, I'm not at the dorm. I'm in Pintan. Nice joke. You were just in elective with Leo. I know that. Okay, stop being stubborn. I want to hear you be cute. Send me a voice note. How did I never notice how delusional he was? I had to wake up early for sunrise tomorrow, so I didn't want to waste time. I blocked him directly. A second later, he called from another number. Lynn Piper, are you done yet? I already gave you an out. It was beyond ridiculous. Lying in another girl's bed, using her pillow, covering with her quilt, sending me patronizing texts that's giving me an out. I didn't bother arguing, just reminded him, Finn, we broke up. Don't contact me again. He snapped back angrily, still throwing a fit. You want me to really break up with you? Fine. Let's break up. A long silence followed on the other end, then his gritted voice. Fine, Lynn Piper. Fine. Whoever comes crawling back first is a dog. Don't come crying to me later. To have some peace, I blocked all of Finn's contacts. The next day, Leo and I went to Dongxiang Island to watch the sunrise as planned. Sadly, the blue tears we'd been waiting for still didn't appear. But the stone houses and morning light on Dongxiang Island were beautiful, like an oil painting. We rented a small electric scooter and rode slowly along the coastline. The wind was salty, the sun warm, and everything felt peaceful. The forecast said it would cool down, but it stayed sunny. The sea wind was strong, though, making it hard to stand steady. We took shelter behind some rocks. The wind whipped up waves that crashed against the rocks, sending spray flying. A large puddle quickly formed on the only path ahead. I was wearing white canvas shoes, stepping through would soak them for sure. I hesitated, about to take them off, when Leo suddenly squatted down in front of me. Get on. I froze. Ha. Your shoes aren't waterproof. I'll carry you across. I hesitated, glancing down at his feet. He was wearing black combat boots, definitely better suited for this kind of ground. Seeing my hesitation, he coughed lightly and explained, travel partners help each other out. And we have more spots to visit. Wet shoes will be uncomfortable, and there's nowhere to buy new ones nearby. After thinking it over, I gently climbed onto his back. Leo's shoulders were broad, his back straight, and he walked steadily. Up close, I could smell a faint, crisp scent on him, like cedar. He didn't seem used to such close contact. A light pink flush crept up his ears, spreading down his long neck. Once we crossed the puddle, he carefully set me down on a dry step. Then he suddenly lowered his head and brushed a leaf from my hair. His scent wrapped around me, strong yet gentle. I could clearly see my flustered reflection in his dark pupils. I jumped back in surprise, but he'd already pulled his hand away. A dry leaf lay in his palm. He'd only been helping me. He acted as if he hadn't noticed my reaction at all, asking casually if I wanted a local baked sweet potato. I nodded. Sure. The little incident passed without a fuss. The day's itinerary was full, but as our departure date neared, the blue tears still hadn't shown up. What made it worse was that every guide and forecast before we left swore these days were peak season. Now that I was here, the weather app kept saying the wind was too strong for viewing. It seemed this Blue Tears trip would end in disappointment. I sighed and opened my private diary app, jotting down my thoughts. I really want to see the Blue Tears. Can I catch even a tiny bit before I leave? I don't ask for much. Just a small patch, like fireflies. Shortly after, a familiar ID left a comment, "Sincerity moves heaven and earth." I recognized this ID. They followed me for a long time. We never chatted privately, but occasionally commented on each other's posts. When I was down, they'd say keep going. When I was happy, they'd say congratulations. Just like countless kind strangers passing by online. I replied, "Thanks for the good words." The next day, I woke up before dawn. Nervous and hopeful, I yanked open the curtains only to see the calm sea again. Another letdown. It was overcast. I sighed, wide awake now, and mindlessly scrolled through moments. I happened to see Willow's latest post. Someone says he loves the peace here. Glad he came home with me instead of going to the sea. Nothing to see, just a waste of money and time. Just then, outside, a glowing blue dragon suddenly erupted from the water, coiling and twisting. More and more blue specks emerged from the seabed, rising and falling with the waves, merging into a flowing galaxy. An oar sliced through the water, sending ripples of light across the surface, as if the entire Milky Way had shattered. My chest heaved. I was too excited to speak. I didn't even bother taking photos, just leaned over the boat's edge, staring mesmerized at the dreamlike scene. It was breathtaking. All the waiting and disappointment felt worth it in that moment. The sea wind messed up my hair. Leo stood silently behind me, capturing every frame of me with the starry sea with his camera. Usually he'd guide me for photos, but today he just quietly took candid shots. After watching the Blue Tears, we found a small restaurant on the island and had the freshest seafood noodles. Afterward, the sea mist cleared. My cheeks were cold from the wind, so Leo took off his jacket and draped it over me. This unexpected Blue Tears chase fulfilled every romantic fantasy I had. The memory of the Blue Tears finally felt vivid and alive. Before leaving the islet, Leo seemed hesitant, looking around. It was low season. There were almost no tourists, just an old man sunning himself by the dock. After a moment, he turned to me. "Lynn, can we take a photo together? Just for the memory." Taking a photo together while traveling was normal. I smiled and nodded. His eyes lit up instantly, as if stars had fallen into them. He hurried over to the old man, handed him the camera, and asked him to press the shutter. The old man was enthusiastic, even directing our poses. "Hey, why stand so far apart? Get closer. Right, be more affectionate. You young people in love, what's there to be shy about? Perfect, hold that pose." He fumbled with the camera for ages, his eyesight not great. Our poses stiffened. In the end, the photo captured Leo and me smiling at each other, a little helpless and awkward. The sea wind blew our hair, the sparkling sea behind us. Our cheeks were pink from the wind, of course. On the flight back, the trip felt like a perfect, unreal dream. But Leo seemed a little lost. Probably sad the trip was ending. Just like when we arrived, he took my suitcase and insisted on walking me to my dorm building. As I was about to go up, he coughed lightly and asked, "Lynn, as a travel partner, how did I do?" "Perfect. 100 points. He hesitated, then asked again, "Then, if you want to go anywhere else next time, can you invite me? I love traveling too." I smiled politely and nodded. Back in the dorm, I shared the souvenirs I'd brought with my roommates. One had just come in and rushed over excitedly. "Piper, you won't believe what I saw at the cafeteria. It was so cringy." I saw Finn eating with that junior of his, laughing and chatting. "You guys broke up," so I ignored him and walked past, but he called me over. He asked if you'd been hiding in the dorm crying all week. I unwrapped a souvenir and asked, "What did you say?" I told him you weren't crying at all. You were in Pintan having fun, posting moments, living your best life. Guess what? He said I was lying to cover for you. Said if you knew you were wrong, you'd go find him. He's being magnanimous and won't really break up with you. We've been together so long that he developed the delusion I couldn't live without him. I looked at his name in my blocked list and felt no urge to unblock him. This was the longest we had ever gone without contact, after all the years Finn and I had known each other. But we still couldn't avoid meeting at my house. My dad and Finn's dad were old family friends and business partners. Our mothers had been best friends for years. So regular family dinners had become a habit. That day, my mom called, saying she had something important to announce and that I had to come home for dinner. As soon as I opened the door, I saw Finn sitting on the sofa. There were 6 seats at the long dining table. 5 were already taken, leaving only the one next to Finn empty. I had no choice but to sit down. The second Finn saw me, he leaned over and whispered, "Piper, you look a little rounder after a week. Did you cry yourself swollen?" I wasn't swollen from crying. I just gained weight from all the delicious seafood in Pintan. I ignored him, but he kept talking cheerfully. "Baby, you're not still mad, are you? That camera you liked. I had someone buy it for you. I'll give it to you later. And you wanted to see blue tears? I found an even better place. Willow's hometown is by the sea. In summer, their beach is full of blue tears, way more spectacular than Pintan, no crowds either. When I take her home for summer break, you can come with me. I promise you'll see all you want." I lifted my eyes and looked at him calmly. "No thanks. I don't want any unnecessary contact with an ex." Before I could finish, the adults at the table turned the conversation to Finn and me. "Come to think of it, these two are graduating soon. Shouldn't we talk about marriage?" Finn's mother smiled warmly. "They've been steady all this time. I watched Piper grow up. I've long thought of her as my own daughter. Why don't we pick a good day and hold an engagement party first?" Only then did I realize what my mom's important thing was. "Piper, what do you think? Chinese style or Western style for the party?" "MRS." Shen looked at me expectantly. "Mr." Shen nodded along. "Yes, this decision has to be our heroine's." For a moment, all eyes were on me. My parents' gazes were full of eager hope. Under the table, Finn quietly kicked my foot and whispered, "Piper, you can throw a fit, but not in front of the elders. They'll worry. And if this blows up, it won't end well." He'd said that before. In the past, no matter how hurt I was by him, I only told my family good news, never bad. But this time was different. Some things had to be made clear to both families. I took a deep breath and spoke slowly. "Uncle, Auntie, Mom, Dad, Finn and I have broken up. So the engagement is off." My words hit like a stone into a calm lake, causing an immediate uproar. The most intense reaction wasn't from the elders, but from Finn. He shot to his feet. Frowning, glaring at me angrily, "Lynn, Piper, are you done yet? Is an engagement a game? You just cancel it like that. Is this fun to you?" My parents frowned disapprovingly. "Piper, don't be willful. If there's a misunderstanding, sit down and talk it out." "MRS." Shen first shot. Finn looked to sit down, then spoke to me gently. "Piper, did Ache do something to upset you? Tell Auntie. I'll straighten him out. I'll make sure he treats you well from now on. You grew up under our eyes. We've all seen how many years you and Ache have been together. Don't throw it all away over something small." Amid all the objections, I smiled. "I'm not being impulsive. I've thought this through clearly. I hadn't planned to bring this up at the dinner table. I wanted to talk to my parents privately. But since we were already here, I might as well settle everything in front of everyone. Finn, did you tell your parents Wei went on leave last week? Obviously, he hadn't. At my question, his face flickered with panic. So I said it for him. He went back to the hometown with a junior. He stayed at her place for 6 full days. MRS. Shen froze. Is that true? Mom, you've always taught me to help others. That junior had family problems and was too scared to go home alone. I was doing a good deed. Finn scrambled to defend himself, trying to take the moral high ground. Mr. Shen nodded. Helping classmates is a good thing. Piper, don't overthink it. Our Che just has a warm heart. It's a good quality. I'd always thought Mr. and Mrs. Shen were kind. They remembered my birthday, gave me red envelopes for New Year, treated me like their own daughter. But blood was thicker than water. Deep down, they would always favor their own son. So I opened Willow's Moments page. I never deleted her. I've been waiting for this moment. Here. This is the junior's moments. You can see for yourselves. The phone was passed around the table. The Shen parents' faces grew darker and darker. Clearly, they too could see the ambiguous messages in the words and photos. Only Finn stared blankly at the screenshots on my phone, then compared them with his own for a long time, before cursing under his breath. She blocked me. I never saw any of this. Piper, I didn't know she posted this. Most of those things aren't even what I said. She made them up. I really only saw her as a normal junior. If I'd known she felt this way, I would have kept my distance. In a few words, he washed his hands clean of everything. MRS. Shen immediately took the opening to persuade me. Piper, if it's just a misunderstanding, then let's clear it up. Don't keep talking about breaking up. It's so hard to find someone from a good family these days. Look at how Che looks. Ability, is there anything lacking? Is there anyone better than him at your school? Actually, there was. Jiang Liu, the unanimously recognized heartthrob of the architecture department. All things considered, Finn didn't even come close. As if reading my mind, Finn cut me off first. Leo might be good looking, but nothing's going to happen between you two. His family already arranged a marriage for him. I heard he even postponed his plan to study abroad after graduation for that girl. His lock screen is a photo of a girl's back by the sea. I froze slightly. Back by the sea. Was it a stock photo? Or a candid shot? MRS. Shen kept talking. Piper, are you still mad because Finn didn't take you to Pintan? It's fine. Auntie will pay for you to go again this summer. She already went. My mom, who'd been quiet this whole time, finally spoke. She pulled up the travel photos I'd sent her a few days earlier. Piper went to Pintan by herself last week. I thought you went with Finn. She looked at me confused. But if Finn was with that junior, then who did you go with? Finn stared in shock at the photos from Pintan on my phone. Then he looked at me, disbelieving. You didn't refund the tickets? I refunded yours. Not mine. No wonder my roommate said he didn't see you on campus. Then why was Leo that day? He trailed off, then suddenly realized what had happened. His eyes widened. So, the person who went to Pintan with you was Jiang Liu. I nodded. I fell asleep on the bus that day, exhausted. He answered the call for me. I never lied to you, not once. His expression shifted from shock to anger. You went traveling alone with another guy. So he didn't know it was inappropriate to travel alone with someone of the opposite sex. Then how could he stay at another girl's place for a week without a second thought? What's wrong with that? I clearly told you we were breaking up before we left. A single girl traveling with a single guy, is there any moral problem with that? The dinner ended in disaster. Because of my insistence, all the parents' plans fell through. Finn, who'd always been calm and confident, finally panicked. You're willing to break up with me? When we were together, I'd always thought breaking up was the end of the world. Every time we fought, I'd stay up all night sad, waiting desperately for him to give in first. But when the day actually came, I realized something. No one is irreplaceable in this world. Cut it clean, and life goes on. I looked at him and said softly, yes. In the past, Finn would always walk me back to campus after family dinners. This time, I went alone. As I walked, I ranted in my private diary app. Was too busy arguing. Didn't even eat dinner. Wasted a whole table of good food. I've decided, if there's a next time, I'll eat first, then argue. Want dessert? Want mango pomelo sago and sea salt 1,000-layer cake? I walked slowly, letting the night breeze cool my frustration. After seeing Willow's moments, my parents were completely disappointed in Finn. Our engagement was officially called off. 7 years of feelings finally, they'd come to an end. My feelings were like a knocked-over paint palette, messy and bittersweet. I sat by the campus lake for a long time, letting the wind blow over me, before slowly walking back to the dorm. At the dorm entrance, I saw a familiar, upright figure. His bangs were messy in the wind. Standing quietly under a magnolia tree, as if waiting for someone. When he saw me, his eyes lit up. He walked over holding a cake box and several drinks. It was Jiang Leo. The cake was sea salt 1,000-layer. There were 4 drinks, mango pomelo sago, juicy grape, cheese mango, and a cup of hot cocoa. Leo explained awkwardly, I suddenly felt like cake today, but I bought the wrong flavor by accident, sea salt. I don't like things too sweet. I remembered you said you loved this flavor during our trip, so I brought it to you on the way. I pointed at the drinks in his hand. These, also bought by mistake. No. The street lamp stretched his shadow long. He pressed his lips lightly. I had a stored value card at the campus milk tea shop. Today was the last day it expired, so I bought a lot to use it up. The excuse was full of holes, but I didn't call him out. I just thanked him, thank you. How much? I'll transfer it to you. He froze, then shook his head quickly. No need. If you don't take it, I can't finish it myself. I should be thanking you for helping me get rid of all this. Afraid I would refuse, he stuffed everything into my arms and hurried away. Exactly 4 drinks, 1 for me and each roommate. Among them was exactly the mango pomelo sago I'd been craving. I stared at his back disappearing into the night and fell into thought. I suddenly felt like my private diary app was some kind of wishing well. Once I'd wished for tickets to a popular art exhibition. I didn't win any, but a classmate gave me hers at original price because she couldn't go. Another time, I entered a photography contest and wished to win an award. I didn't get the main prize, but the organizers gave me a special most potential award with a Polaroid I wanted for ages. It was all too lucky. Unnaturally lucky. After that, Finn kept sending me friend requests over and over. I never accepted. So he waited for me downstairs every single day. I looked at him, annoyed. Have you ever heard this? A good ex should stay dead, completely gone from the other person's life. He just shook his head stubbornly. Piper, 7 years. How could you just let go like that? People were strange like that, took things for granted when they had them, only regretted losing them afterward. He even tried to turn me against Leo. Don't let Leo fool you. Guys like him only chase novelty. He's just playing around. I told him directly, Leo isn't why we broke up. And we're not together. He came so often that he even drew Willow men over. I met Willow once before, at a team dinner with Finn. Back then, she was timid and insecure, wearing faded old clothes, her voice so soft you could barely hear her, easy to pick on. Several guys in the group kept teasing her to drink. I couldn't stand it, and quietly touched Finn's hand under the table. Finn understood immediately and blocked all the alcohol for her. At that moment, the little girl huddled in the corner looked up sharply, her eyes shining unbelievably bright. But the willow man in front of me now was completely different. She wore delicate makeup and a pretty white dress. She stepped forward and took Finn's arm, calling him to the lab. "Senior, my program has bugs again." Before, Finn would have agreed right away. But this time, he shook her off impatiently. "Can't you ask your professor? Why come to me?" Willow came 3 times, and he chased her away 3 times. On the 3rd try, she finally snapped. "Finn, didn't you like me? You broke up with Piper already. Why are you still hung up on her? Be with me, isn't that better?" Finn looked like he'd heard the biggest joke. "When did I ever like you? If you didn't like me, why did you stop the guys from making me drink at the dinner? Piper told me to help you." Willow froze for a second, then pressed on. "I was carrying heavy luggage upstairs, everyone ignored me. If you didn't like me, why did you help me? And if you didn't like me when you found out I often skipped breakfast, why did you keep leaving milk on my desk? You've only been with Piper out of 7 years of habit. The one you really like is me, Finn." Finn was left speechless by her rapid questions, grinding his teeth in anger. "That was because Piper told me you were having a hard time and to help you when I could. And the milk? That was never me. She brought it for you when she came to the lab to see me." Willow clearly hadn't expected that answer. She stood there completely stunned. After a long silence, she looked up at me in disbelief, her eyes instantly red. Actually, Finn wasn't entirely right. His first acts of kindness toward Willow had started because of me. But what came later had long gone off track. I hadn't told him to do any of that. I couldn't say whether Finn had ever fallen for Willow. But I knew for sure, his heart had wavered. It had wandered. And once a man strays even a little, he was no longer someone I could want. I was in a hurry to class and didn't want to keep tangling with them. Today, my wishing well worked again. I'd written in my app that I wanted to try the new spicy hot pot place on campus, but my roommate canceled last minute. I posted a short update saying I hoped a hero would come save me and help finish the huge portion. 15 minutes later, Leo happened to pass by and naturally had dinner with me. While eating, he talked to me about the starry sky in the northwest. He said the U-shaped highway in Qinghai was beautiful, with endless Gobi beside it. At night you could see a bright Milky Way, more spectacular than any sea. We parted on good terms. He said he'd send me some photos of the northwest later. But less than an hour later, something happened. Finn fought him. A video of Finn and Leo fighting in the campus grove quickly spread on the campus bulletin board. My roommate sent it to me right away. I was worried when I first heard. Finn had practiced Sonda since he was little and even won awards. Leo looked tall, but he was elegant and gentle, not the type to fight. But after watching the video, I relaxed. It was about a 40-60 split. Finn 40%, Leo 60%. I could vaguely hear Finn screaming my name in the video. This whole thing started because of me. I couldn't just ignore it. I rushed over. When I arrived, the fight was almost over. Leo was basically pinning Finn down. Finn shouted furiously, "If you weren't here, Piper would never have broken up with me. It's all your fault." Leo had always been gentle and polite around me. I'd never seen him like this. His sleeves were rolled up, chin lifted, eyes cold and arrogant. "Her breaking up with you has nothing to do with me. You're just too stupid to tell a green tea when you see one. You're so full of yourself. Like you could tell any better." Finn snarled. Leo just answered calmly, "I can. Because I am one too." Then they lunged at each other again. But the second I stepped closer, Leo, who had had the upper hand, suddenly stopped. Finn's fist landed hard on his shoulder. He staggered back, holding his injured arm, not fighting back, just standing there pale. A cut on his forehead was bleeding, trickling down his cheek. He looked badly hurt. Finn hadn't noticed me yet and yelled, "What? Giving up?" Scared. Then he finally saw me and froze completely. I hurried to Leo's side and asked if he was okay. He swayed slightly, looking in pain, but forced a smile and shook his head. "I'm fine, Lynn. Finn just attacked me out of nowhere. I don't know what's wrong with him. He's not stable. You should stay away from him." Finn had already stopped, but those words set him off again. "Hey, you're faking this. You scheming bastard, how can you be this disgusting?" Just as a second fight was about to break out, the counselor arrived in time and took both to the infirmary. Leo looked badly hurt, but they were just superficial wounds cleaned and bandaged easily. Finn wasn't so lucky. Leo had hit him hard, targeting places that wouldn't show. Several soft tissue bruises. And it was Finn who started it. He took all the disciplinary action and paid all the medical fees. I didn't leave the infirmary right away. I pulled a chair next to Finn's bed. "Let's talk." He looked miserable, but forced himself to meet my eyes. "Do you remember? High school. I got locked in the equipment room, and you kicked the door down to save me. Later you asked me to promise if you ever messed up, to give you 3 chances. Finn's eyes went blank. After a long while, he nodded. "I guess I did say that." So he had almost forgotten. "I gave you 3 chances. The first time, my graduation exhibition. You stood me up for Willow Man. I stood alone in the hall, watching people come and go, and my heart sank little by little. The second time, the music festival. You left me alone in the cold wind to stand up for her. I ran a high fever, developed acute pneumonia, and was hospitalized. And you thought I was just throwing a fit. You didn't contact me for 3 whole days." I stared at the slit in my hand and told myself, that was the last time. One more thing like this, and we're done. At first, hope and relief flickered across his face because I stayed. But as I spoke, that light shattered, piece by piece, until only panic and regret remained. "I really, really loved you once. The kind of love that made me want to marry you right away. But now, I don't anymore. I'm telling you this so you understand, our breakup has nothing to do with Jiang Leo. Please don't bother anyone else again." With that, I stood up and left. Somewhere behind me, I thought I heard Finn's suppressed sobbing. Like evening wind blowing over an empty field, cold and desolate. At the infirmary door, I ran into Leo, who hadn't left yet. He seemed relieved to see me come out so soon, then limped toward me. "Lynn, could you walk me back to the dorm? I think I twisted my ankle earlier. It hurts to walk." I could have sworn his foot wasn't hurt during the fight. I was about to ask when the counselor walked over warmly and offered to take Leo back himself. So I returned to the dorm alone. I opened my private diary app and looked at the familiar ID that had always commented on my posts. For the first time, I clicked into our private chat. "Still awake." He was clearly still up, replying almost instantly. "Not yet." "What's wrong?" His tone was familiar, like an old friend I'd known for years. And in a way, we had known each other for 4 years. I remember our first real interaction. You posted saying your future felt dark, like life was meaningless. I saw it and was worried you might hurt yourself. For a whole month, I left you a comment every day, asking how your day was. He was probably confused why I was bringing up something so long ago, but he played along patiently. "Yes. You also encouraged me to pick up a hobby, like photography. On your advice, I bought my first camera, and slowly fell in love with capturing the world through a lens. I really am grateful to you." I stared at that sentence for half a minute. I typed and deleted and typed, until only one line remained. "You like me?" He replied quickly, "Yes." So I sent another. "Jiang Leo, you like me?" He had been replying in seconds. Now, The chat went completely silent. I waited 3 full minutes, still nothing. Of course. People could be bold behind a screen. Once the mask came off, they turned timid. After a long while, he said a careful question mark. How did you know? Because you left too many clues. I thought it would be better to say this face to face. I really appreciate your liking and company all this time. But I just got out of a relationship. Jumping straight into a new one right after wouldn't be responsible for myself, or fair to you. I need some time alone to sort myself out, to make sure I'm not starting something new just because I'm lonely. A moment later, Leo sent a voice message. His voice was beautiful, clear and cool, like the sea breeze in Pintan, a little salty, a little soft. I understand. I know I shouldn't push you. But Piper, you're too wonderful. I waited so long for you to break up. I'm scared if I wait even a little longer, someone else will take you. I'm not in a hurry. Take all the time you need. I'll wait. I don't mind how long. And Piper, I really like you. After hanging up, I slept soundly for the first time in ages. Leo and I fell into a soft, delicate space between friends and lovers. We met occasionally, talking about photography, design, the sea in Pintan, and the starry sky in the northwest. As for Finn, after that conversation, he never came to me again. Our parents' relationship wasn't badly affected either. When we met at banquets, we just nodded calmly at each other. But Finn never really recovered. He visibly lost weight, and the light in his eyes was gone. Mrs. Shin tried to get us back together several times, but I refused firmly. She asked my parents to persuade me, they wouldn't. The kids' business is for the kids to decide. Life was peaceful. I focused all my excitement on my graduation trip. Right before graduation, I received an anonymous apology letter. No name was signed, but from the content, it was obvious who it was from: Willow Man. I once thought I liked Shin Fin, so I did everything I could to drive a wedge between you. Later I realized, what I craved was just the kindness that was reflected onto me through him, kindness that originally came from another girl. So I'm sorry. I thought, a truly unbreakable relationship can't be torn apart by anyone. In the end, the problem was always with Finn and me. Then graduation season arrived. Leo and I set off on a trip together again. Not to the northwest. Back to the sea. This time, we went to Whimsical Island in Sanya. I bought new long dresses, beach sandals, sun hats, trying them on again and again in the dorm mirror, wanting to look nice. On the island known as China's Maldives, we dove underwater, swam with colorful fish, and finally saw the legendary coral reefs. Leo pulled 2 small drift bottles from his waterproof backpack and handed one to me. I smiled at him and held up my phone. Look at my new wallpaper. Pretty. He took the phone, turned on the screen and froze completely. The new lock screen was that photo we'd taken on the Pintan dock, with the old man's help. 2 people with wind-blushed cheeks, smiling stupidly at the camera. Jiang Leo. Do you like me? He said, I do. Some tourist nearby was playing a song out loud. I want to watch the May sunset with you, and the morning glories in June. The lyrics fit perfectly. I tilted my head and looked at him. Then, don't just be my travel partner. Will you be in a never-breaking-up relationship with me? The sunset dyed the whole ocean a gentle orange pink. Leo held out his hand and wrapped it tightly around mine. For a moment, I thought I heard the waves whispering softly beside me. The heroine had been in a 7-year relationship, but her boyfriend repeatedly broke promises and crossed boundaries for his junior, leaving her deeply disappointed. She bravely let go and traveled alone to chase the blue tears, where she met someone who truly respected and cherished her. The story tells us, never compromise your bottom line in love, do not cling to the wrong person. Knowing when to stop is self-protection. True love is mutual devotion, not compromise. Farewell to the wrong one, and you will meet the right happiness.